Welcome, Michaela. Welcome.
Hello. I am so sorry that you had to waffle. But
It's okay.
clients are the priority, and sorry, the dogs are rather excited to have me home. So
you missed Gordon's elite segueing through this whole episode.
Damn.
It's been pretty good, Michaela. It's like
good.
time slowed down. I was in the zone. It was amazing.
Oh, very good, very good. All right.
So we have the AWIHL Commissioner Michaela Fellowes in the house. Finally, how is Commissioner life going for so far this season?
Not too bad, actually. It's been interesting outside of the commissioner work, but no, I think everything's going rather well. We've got a really exciting 5 teams this year. Even though Sydney are on the bottom of the table, they've come really close to winning some of their games. It's only been time running out on them, really. But the other 4 teams are so close that they've really stepped up this year, and the league, I think, is fairly even with, and we've had some really high scoring games, so that's been interesting to see. So it should be interesting to see who gets the top point scorer this year and how many points they get.
Yeah, there's a lot putting their hand up, that's for sure.
There is indeed.
The first question I got for you, then Gordon will hit you with the hard-hitting stuff.
Awesome.
Gordon and I, we might be living in a bubble where we think that the AW this season there's been a lot more interest in it. It seems like the talent is one thing that's going up, but we sort of look at the streams and stuff and look at the crowds and see whether or not there's more people in the stands and things like that. Is Gordon and I just living in a bubble that we're just immersed in the AW and we think that everything is going well, or is it actually seen a bit of an intake in things like that?
I haven't had recent figures though from the last couple of weeks, but the initial figures that we got from Sportscast is, yes, they have gone up compared to what they were last year. So which is really good to see, and is really good for the teams and sponsors, and being able for the teams to use those figures for sponsors. I would have to find them because I'm struggling with technology today. As you can tell, it took me 5 minutes to download Google Chrome onto my laptop. So yeah, but no, it is rather noticeable that the viewership is going up, and that more people are talking about it, and that. So yeah, it's becoming I think riding on the back the coattails of other women's sport that are gaining popularity, like the soccer or football, and your NRLW, your AFLW, you've got your women's cricket, you've got netball, you've got all of those that are really increasing in popularity. So yeah, so I think it's just another step, and hopefully even next year that we're on to bigger and better things.
We've got a comment from Andrew Egan. The streams have been great. I think he meant to put because of, but he's put even the commentary from you two. Lots of engagement in the live chat in game. I think I actually think having the streams on YouTube has been really good. Like there's AWIHL TV, but the YouTube has been really good as well. Has that been your kind of takeaway?
Absolutely, and I think it it reaches more people. If you just go to YouTube and go, ice hockey in Australia or something, it will pop up. So the searching for it, I think, has really and being on YouTube and being able to rewatch the games and that kind of thing, I think has been really good for building our brand.
It's funny you say that, Gordon. Just a side thing. When we had I think it was the Sunday game, someone had mentioned in the live chat that their algorithm had made the A-dub actually pop up in their feed. And I'm trying to think of where they were from. They were from North America somewhere. And they must have been just on YouTube, and the algorithm popped up and said, here, this is of interest to you. And then they started watching it at 3:00 in the morning or something like that. So it does, yeah, it's crazy how it's working.
Yeah, and we're currently working through with Sportscast to actually upload all of the games from last year as well. So we will start onto the YouTube channel and also AWIHL TV. So we will start having a backlog of older games that people can go back and rewatch, or that kind of thing. So yeah, so it's a work in progress.
Yeah, we've got, again, Andrew in the chat. For me, YouTube is the difference between watching just a few games a year at the rink to now watching all of it. And yeah, I agree. It's been so easy just to be able to go back and watch the games. So that's been good.
Yeah, but even for me, even for me being over here in Perth and only, not being able to travel to watch the games, is that I can sit on the weekend and I can watch the games where, I struggled the last couple of years, last year, to be able to access and also watch both games and easily flick between one and the other when they're on at the same time, which YouTube's made the massive difference.
Yeah. If you've got a choice between our commentary and I won't finish that question. No, but
of course yours and Andrew's good. Gordon. Yeah. If Todd asks me the same question, it'll be Todd's commentary all the way.
And that's fair. No, I was going to ask, like, a lot of people may not know just what a panic it was when at the start of October, I think it was, the streaming provider that the league had thought was going to be streaming the games, pulled out, went into administration. I know you were hard at work at that stage. Can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so we were told probably the Thursday or Wednesday, and it became public on the Friday. But by then, Mark Weber had been instrumental in reaching out to all of the various providers that are around the country to get quotes for us. And they all came back within the week, and then we Kylie Taylor, Mark, and I sat down and really looked at what each of the quotes, well, number one, cost, but what each of the quotes could bring and what each provider could bring. And then we went to Ice Hockey Australia with our recommendations on the providers. So, obviously, where Sportscast wasn't the cheapest, they offered us the best access to the games, and also offered the fans the best access to the games. And I can tell you, working with them has been an absolute dream this season. Anything that we want within a couple of minutes, particularly while the streams are happening, if we pick up anything that's wrong, it gets fixed. They're very open, and they're very much open to feedback as well from us, which we have given feedback on certain things. And it's all a work in progress, because this is the first time that they've ever done ice hockey, and because it's obviously not a run of the mill stream and run of the mill sport, but it's starting to get up there, and a lot of the providers had been doing local hockey, out of Adelaide and Melbourne and the like. So, but yeah, we just, with Sportscast, they were amazing from the first moment we made contact with them to work with them. And we were lucky that Ice Hockey Australia backed us up on what our decisions were, and that. And I'm extremely happy with how it's been going. We can always fix things and make things better, and next year there's a lot of scope for that. So we needed to get this year, considering we had about a 2-week turnaround. I think we've done quite well.
Well,
Hockey,
we've got it. So I was just going to say, we've got a comment from Melbourne Ice head coach Curtis Klooster that YouTube has been a great resource for us coaches too. So there we have it, crediting the commissioner for the Melbourne Ice leading the standings. No, but yeah, it has been great.
Yeah, no, and I think it just gives a lot more flexibility, particularly for the coaches and the coaching staff to really hone in on the games where I don't think we had that before, to the same extent that we've got it now.
I was just going to say, hockey is a unique sport, and it does take time if you've never covered it through streaming and all that sort of stuff to actually get it's different angles and things that you need to. It's not like other sports where it could be, it's sort of simple. It's a unique sport. But you did mention Adelaide with streaming. There was another scary speed bump for a moment there with the Adelaide rink. It's all settled down now. The Adelaide Rush have a home.
They do.
Safe, and they're right to go.
Yes. There was a scary moment there, but it's all been sorted as far as I'm aware. I haven't heard anything further, so don't ask, and you don't get told the issues. We've also had a few issues with flights. I think last weekend actually, or not last weekend, the weekend before, with Brisbane coming to Perth. That was nothing but a nightmare on the Friday afternoon. And I do feel sorry for Lee and Mark Brown, because they were just pulling their hair out trying to sort the girls out and the coaches, and to get them over here. And then Melbourne got stuck in Brisbane overnight on when they played on the Sunday night. They were ready to board, and the plane got cancelled, so they had to stay an extra day in Brisbane, which that was a mad scramble for them as well, trying to reorganise their work and school and everything, given that most of the girls at school or uni were going through exams and had exams on that next day. So, we're very flexible, very agile.
So we need private jets.
Yes. So we need a really wealthy benefactor to not only build more rinks, but we need private jets to fly everybody everywhere.
That could be a good segue right there, Gordon, into major sponsor for the AWIHL. That's something that the league, we all think the league needs. If there's anyone out there who's listening with our massive viewership here, GG, please get in touch with the league and Michaela. Is obviously it'd be constantly on your radar. Is there any updates with that for the league at all?
Not at this stage. We are still working on. We've got a couple in the pipeline. We also have some fundraising ideas that won't get off the ground until next season, unfortunately. But yes, if there's anybody who's interested in having a chat, please get in touch. We're very open to naming rights, you name it. We're open to discussions with sponsors, because as you guys would know, it's a very expensive sport, and most of these girls are paying for it themselves, if not their parents are paying for it. And on top of the AWIHL season, they also most of them, or a lot of them, play in the national women's team, both the U18s and also the over 18s, and they also play winter league. So it's a very expensive sport to play, and anything that we can do to minimize the cost for the teams, we try to do. But as the economy at the moment, it's not the best. Not a lot of people are willing to put their hands in their pockets, but we try the best we can, and just cross fingers and hope that I hope that who we're talking to at the moment comes through.
We do have a question that's come in from the comments from Tracy Hokett. Question for Michaela: how about them Ducks? Are they in next year? Talk us through. You may not be able to answer that at this point, but what is the process for an expansion team?
Okay, so the process for the expansion team, and I can actually answer Tracy's. The decision won't actually be made until the general meeting of AW, which is held about May next year. So the process is for a team. They send through an expression of interest. It's about a 2-year lead time to get to do an expansion team. So you put in the expression of interest, and then we obviously engage and talk and start stepping them through the process, and then the teams have to go through exhibition games, which the Ducks are currently going through at the moment, with teams in the AW that are teams that are already here in the AW, just to make sure that the quality of players is there, that they're at the level that they need to be at to make it, because you don't want to introduce a new team, add extra costs to the existing teams, and then have them run dead last for the first 3 years. You want them to be competitive, but you don't want to introduce a team at the detriment of the other teams as well. So once the exhibition games are happening, all of the other teams, and that's why we like getting them telecast, because I think Melbourne have been putting it through their Facebook page, I think, or maybe YouTube. And then so the other teams, pardon me, all watch those games, and make judgments, and get ready for questions when it comes, and then they do a presentation at the general meeting. So the team that's wanting to enter at the general meeting does the presentation, and then the clubs go away, discuss it, and make the decision.
Is there a
2 seconds?
Yeah.
I'm just while Michaela's coughing up along, I'm just going to bring up this new stats guru, Tracy Hokett. Welcome to the team, Tracy. Dual 8-point games, not even against the Goannas. Christina Julien and Shauna Green, each 8 points as Ice beat Rush in a 17-3 bloodbath. This incident occurred February 4, 2017. So thank you, Tracy. Sorry, Michaela, just for context, we were going over Sarah Salmon's 8-point game, and just wondering if that was a record. And Tracy has been digging up stats. Usually players have... Yeah, Tracy's found a couple against the Goannas. One player who scored 8 goals against the Goannas. Nice. So yeah. Anyway,
and this is why we need those that have been around the league for some time. This is why we need them still involved, is because they have such great stats. Like Sarah out of Sydney has such great stats that you don't want to lose those. When players retire, or they don't want to be involved anymore. So yeah, it's really great to have players like Tracy still involved in the league and still playing at the level that she's playing at.
Yeah, Tracy could be auditioning for a commentary gig.
Yeah,
live on our show. GG pulling out these stats.
Well, you need a statistician, don't you? All the good shows have them.
Yeah. 100%.
I just want to go back to the expansion with the Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a more there might not be, but is there a more broader vision for the league in terms of we'd like to at some stage have a team in, say, Canberra? The Rhinos are back in the Central Coast, have possibly a team in the Central Coast, and all that sort of stuff, and looking at all of the regional cities and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just in very early talks with IHA at the moment, because obviously IHA still we're a league part of IHA. So yeah, we're just in this, the early stage discussions of what does our 5-year plan now look like, and how are we going to expand without damaging the current team, without making it more expensive, because this season is more expensive than it's ever been before. And how can we do that and still keep a competitive league that people want to play in, people want to watch, all of those things. So it's a juggling act at the moment, but everything's on the table, and it's all I was going to say, Gordon,
please tell me
your opinion. Yeah, so it's we know we have to seriously look at it to make sure the expansion, not only happens at the right time, but because you don't want to go too big and then have it all fold. So what's the balance that we have to achieve to get that expansion, to keep the league competitive without sending the cost that's already high through the roof.
And some people might not have heard you talk or speak or anything like that, or spoken to you before. What is the role of the commissioner? What's the sort of what's the word? Day in the life of the commissioner, and why was it something that you wanted to do as well?
Well, normally a day in the life of the commissioner is pretty relaxed, and it's when things are running smoothly, it's pretty good, because everything's running how it should be. There are other times where it can be challenging and you just want to throw your phone away and put you out of office on email and say, don't guys, unless you come to me with the solution, I don't want to hear about it. No, the biggest time of the year is working with Kylie and setting up the schedule and getting all the flights booked and all of that kind of thing. So that's the main thing that we do, or that I do. Well, Kylie does a lot of it. I just sit there and go, yes, that looks good. No, that doesn't look good. I don't think we're going to do it that weekend. What about this? What about that? Obviously, I run the meetings. Most of the decisions that are made with the AW are actually made by the clubs, because they're the ones that are impacted. I oversee it, and if they ask me my opinion on it, I'll give my opinion. But realistically, the running of the league and the decisions that are made for the league, like your regulations and things like that, they're made by the clubs. They're not made by me. I'll give where it's needed, give my 2 cents worth. So that's the kind of thing that, like, the commissioner role is, and I can delegate a lot of stuff, which is good. But no, and most of my stuff is all liaising with IHA and keeping on top of that, running the meetings, with the finals series, making sure that, because Mark looks after the finals series, and making sure that he doesn't need any help, and watching the games, and if there's any feedback I need to give to the sportscast or whoever's doing the broadcast at the time. It's just those little bitty things. But yeah, the ultimate decisions are made by the clubs, because they're the ones that are impacted by it. Like for me, whether I'm looking after 5 teams or 7 teams, it's no impact. But if those 7 teams, if the 2 extra teams are going to impact the 5 teams negatively, then those 5 teams need to have a say in it. So I think that may be a bit different to how a lot of people run things, but that's how I like to run it, because they're the ones that are impacted by any decisions that are made. So And the reason why I got into it, well, I was doing a bit of the team managing stuff with the Perth Inferno for a bit through COVID, and yeah, it just really piqued my interest, and just thought it was something that I'd like to get into, and learn how the inner workings of the AW, and talking to other teams, and yeah, I just enjoy it. I enjoy the admin side of it. Not so much the getting out and playing, because I can't skate for the life of me. I do own a set of skates though. I think I've worn them 3 times in 12 years, 13 years. Not very successfully though.
I know Graham Hyde's got a lot of love for you. When we announced that we're going to have you on, he sent me a message, and he just wrote the boss, and he had like the emoji with the.
Yeah. Yes. No, I have team managed for Graham for pretty much most of my hockey, and all the time that I've been involved in hockey, I've team managed for one of his teams. So we go back quite a way.
Well, now you're commissioner, are you allowed to wear an Inferno sweater or Inferno colours, or is that put away?
No. No, that's why I always wear the AW jersey if I'm wearing a jersey. But no, I do still wear some stuff, but are only around the house. I don't wear it out in public. Well, I bought it. I may as well wear it. So yeah, so I do have some Inferno, like a pair of track pants and a t-shirt. That's about it. I gave the rest away when I did become commissioner, so I gave it to people that are still involved in Inferno. So I wouldn't be tempted to wear it.
Oh, it's good to see you drop the puck last weekend too at the Perth Inferno.
And I didn't fall over, so that's also an advantage.
No, that was good. From your perspective, the quality of play this year, what's been your take on it?
I think the quality of play has stepped up another level from last year to the comparing last year and this year. I think the quality of play has really stepped up. Like Adelaide have really, they're a young team, a developing team, but they really have started taking it to the rest of the teams that are, a lot of them have been around for a while. Yes, okay, Adelaide do have players that have been around for a while, but there are a lot of young players in the Adelaide team. Brisbane, on the other hand, as well, a very young team, still developing. There's some really good young goalies out there that are all still developing. Which I highly encourage them to stick with it, because it can get coming from a person who's married to a goalie. I know that sometimes it can get very annoying when you lose, and you get 12 pucks behind you, and it's just you come off the ice and you just are very disappointed. But I just think that the quality of girls that are coming through and the potential that they have is just outstanding for such a niche sport in a country that doesn't have a lot of, it's not a big sport, let's face it. And we don't, yes, okay, we've got 6,000 members, I think, in Ice Hockey Australia, registered this year. And it's an elite level. So I think the girls need to, I encourage them to really stick with it. And yes, okay, some days it may not go the way that they wanted, but they've got so much potential.
I know you mentioned before about the rise of kind of women's sport and interest in women's sport. Mm-hmm. And has there ever been any ideas of, for example, collaborating with, I don't know, let's say AFLW, and being like, hey, Brisbane Lions, if you sell season passes to your members, as part of the season package, you get family tickets to any Lightning game, Brisbane Lightning women's game of your choice. and vice versa. Is that something that is possible, do you think, or is that something that you think could get new fans? Or
Oh, look, I'm certain it would be a way to get more fans. That most of those kind of things we leave up to the clubs. If they ask us for help to do it, like I know that Perth, for example, I know that they have done, Ian and the team there have done a lot of work with, I think it's with the AFLW, and I know that they've done with roller derby. They've also done a few things with, I think it's cricket over here. So, I think the more the teams get out there, and the more the teams try and work with other women's sport, yeah, I'm all for it. And if they need help to do it, or they need a contact, I'm sure I can find a contact somewhere along the lines. But yeah, that's an amazing idea.
if anyone has any questions or comments for Michaela, feel free to put them in the chat. Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on and taking the time after work and rushing home and downloading Crow.
Sorry.
That's
We-
okay.
Sorry, I was running late.
We had Tracy on last week, and Tracy was running late because her dog ran past and knocked the modem out of the wall, and she had to plug it in. And then we're sitting here, we're talking, and then you're rushing home from work, and then you have to download Google Chrome. So
Yeah.
so it's a bit of a trend with our guests, I think.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening. That's
Alex,
what's happening.
Alex in Adelaide asking Brisbane Lightning versus Tampa Bay Lightning. Who are you picking between those two teams, Michaela?
And then they says wrong sport. Apologies, guys. Well, no, Brisbane all the way.
Yeah, Brisbane Lightning all the way, absolutely. And Todd Morris doing a fine job, Commish. It's an absolute pleasure to be involved in the league. Can't wait to tuck into the second half of the season already.
Yeah. So we are on a four, and this is something I was going to mention to you. We are on a 4-week break from this, from last week. I think it's 4-week break. Yep, 4-week break. And then the under 18s head off for the World Championships in January. I think they go on the 8th, according to my calendar here. And then the national women's team goes 2 weeks after our finals.
Yeah, it's like the AWIHL loves to cram the January to April kind of schedule, and then there's nothing for 8 months.
And completely mess up our schedule.
Yeah, I know.
So yes.
Yeah, but no, a bit busy few weeks, but yeah, definitely we'll have some information on the Women's World Under 18 Championships. Hopefully, as we said, get Remy and a player on. After what feels like 13 weeks of games back to back, 4 weeks off will be nice. Yeah, well done. Yeah, thanks, Shana. Did you see Shana's Sally after scoring the penalty shot goal, Michaela, on the weekend?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry, Shana.
It's good. I think the picture Phil Taylor took a photo and got her on one skate, just like amping up the crowd. Man alive.
I'll have to go back and watch it now.
It was a good goal.
Yeah.